Hey guys, and welcome to the Women Going Big podcast. I am thrilled to have you on another episode of Women Going Big in Business. I'm excited to introduce my guest. This is, I can't even tell you how many international guests that I've had, but Jenna is on Australia, and she is, she is a USA Today best-selling author, a youth mentor and life coach who supports daring women and teens to find their authentic voice and confidently express themselves through writing. So you guys know me. I am a huge fan of anything writing, get your feelings out, like go big or go home in that arena. So I'm thrilled to have a guest today that can dive a little bit deeper on that. So Jenna, I'm not going to take too much away from you, but tell our audience a little bit more about you, your story, and what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, I'm an author, youth mentor, and life coach, and I've always loved reading. And about 2.5 years ago, I had a story idea, and I said to my best friend, what do you think of this? And she's straight away like, oh, yep, go write it, do it. So I did. And then literally, yeah, 2.5 years later, I've written and self-published 8 books,
Wow.
and just love writing. Just the way it takes you away, and just the way you can express yourself as well. So that's sort of how I started writing books, and I've always, since a teenager, loved journal writing, just as a way to really let go of the thoughts and just release. Like, it really helped me through a lot of hard times as a teen. And then, self-discovery as I got older, finding out who I am. And so that's sort of how my journey with writing. And then, I became a youth mentor and just became a life coach as well, which really puts all my passions together. And it all connects through writing and really sharing that with people and allowing them to discover who they are and find out, what they like to do, what they don't like to do, and really, really reconnect with themselves.
I love that. And I was on your website and I was kind of realizing you've got like a three-prong approach and, in your business. And I love talking to multi-passionate entrepreneurs because a lot of times you'll find that like we're not just passionate about one thing. Like I'm constantly doing like 3 or 5 or 10 things at one time because I'm passionate about so many different things. And that can be a tough balancing act for a lot of people. Can you just dive a little bit deeper on how you were able to bring all three of those things together in a cohesive business strategy for you?
Yeah, I'm definitely creative at heart, and I have the same issue with, here's another idea, here's this. But I
Yeah.
find with writing, it really anchors me because I can have that creative outlet, because there's
Mm-hmm.
all different story ideas. And when I come up with a story idea, it's like, oh, cool, this is a whole new world. Let's create characters, that sort of thing. But when I, was passionate about, I got into youth mentoring because I wrote a self-help book for teens, and I really talked about, what I experienced as a teen, and really talked about the big challenges that we face. And I really dug deep into them taboo topics that we go through as teens, but we don't talk about it enough and make it okay. So that's sort of how I got into youth mentoring and did a course on that. And then I thought, I need to do life coaching as well. And then I sort of, when I was looking at it all, I'm like, I don't want to have three separate things in my business. How do I intertwine these and make them connect? And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing was writing, because writing hooks into all of them, in a way that they all connect together as one. So it was about then, creating your why, creating your mission, your vision, all of that all connects around the one theme. And that's how it sort of brings it together, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's three completely separate things in the business that they just don't mesh together, and they don't
Yeah.
have that point that's how they all sort of connect.
That's awesome. And congratulations for being able to do that, because it's not easy. Coming from someone that is always trying to do that, it's definitely something to be proud of. So my question for you is, because I love writing, I mentioned that, but like I'm not good at it consistently. So I'm great when I sit down and I'm like, I have that idea, or I have that one thing that I know that I need to get out. But for somebody that either wants to write a book or wants to blog or wants to start writing consistently, what are some tips that you can give them to stay consistent, to kind of keep them on track and what they need to accomplish?
Yeah, it's definitely setting schedule, literally time blocking and making it a non-negotiable. Just set blocking out time,
Yeah.
each day, each week. It doesn't matter how often you do it or how many words. Don't get too stuck on, oh, I've got to write this many chapters. Oh, I've got to write this many words. Literally just set the time and be like, okay, an hour here. It has, like, an hour is fine, like literally power hour, literally just get it all out of your head onto the screen, or wherever you want to write it down to. And just, setting time is key, because then it's a non-negotiable. That's the time, okay, I'm in my office, I'm writing this. And then literally consistency, doing it each day, once a week, whatever works into your schedule with what you're doing. And then in the end, you end up with a book.
I love that. And do you have any tips on, as far as like goal setting, like what are some realistic goals, like for somebody, because as far as publishing a book, that's something I've never done. Maybe I want to do, I'm not sure. But as far as like timeline and like realistic goals, what are some goals that people should keep in mind when they start out on either wanting to write a book or self-publishing or anything like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't set, like, I'd literally have a goal of, okay, I want to write a book and I want to finish it.
Okay.
And then worry about, there's a whole new other world after you've literally finished the book. There's, editing, formatting, marketing, covers, a whole new world. But literally just setting the goal, okay, I want to finish this book. I'm working out how many hours you've got, in a week, in a month, whatever. And then set a time. It's hard because you don't want to, I'd say, like, set it maybe 6 months or a year, or say like, okay, this year I'm going to write this book and finish it. So then you've got a whole year, but keep the time and set the time, because then you're going to work on it. You're not going to get to October and be like, oh, 2 months,
Yeah.
what have I
That
done?
makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe making it like a year or 6 months, just depends. But having that, okay, this year I'm going to do this. And then not only setting that, putting the time in, because if you're not going to put the effort, the time, you're not going to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So for anybody listening, all you have to do is decide to write a book, and just write a book, and that's all you need to do. So it really is that easy. For somebody, and again, as far as like self-publishing, because it's so easy these days to write a book and to publish it. It's not like you have to go through a publisher. How, I guess, I don't want to say describe the process, but I mean, do you have any tips, tricks? How did you get into self-publishing, or how did you learn about self-publishing your own books?
Yeah, because I did sort of try and work out, okay, am I going to go self-publishing, or am I going to go with a publisher? And it was a bit of weighing up my options. In terms of self-publishing, you literally you do everything. Like, you build your team of editors, of graphic designers, formatters. You build your whole team, and you've got whole control on, you're working out which platforms you're going to publish on, everything like that. But with a publisher, I did go down that trail to see, okay, what's my options. But for me, publishing, it's great for someone that just wants to write the book and then give it to someone to literally do all that work. If you don't have the time to put into the marketing, to building your team up, to all of that, definitely go through a publisher, because they're great with they know what they're doing, they know the market, they know everything, and they can get it all done for you. You just write the book and then that. But I wanted a bit more control as a creative person. I wanted to, you know, say what I wanted on the cover, not be dictated by somebody else that, no, it's got to be this, because then I'll be like, oh, I'm not happy, you know. So it's just that control thing, and it's working out what works best for you, and how much control you want to have, that sort of thing.
I love that. And the other thing that I noticed as I was on your website, I don't know if people think that you need to like write about one thing, or like when you publish one book, you need to publish another book like that, or I don't know if they think it's genre specific, but as I was looking at your website, it seems like you have a little bit of everything. Can you tell us a little bit more about the kind of books that you've written and maybe what you're working on?
Yeah, so I started off with fiction, fantasy, so completely different, and then I sort of went into young adult, coming of age type book, and then I went into self-help, and then I went into journal, like writing a prompted journal, 6 months worth of journaling, and that's sort of, I have a complete mix, and it's hard because some people are like, oh, you got to stick with the right genre, that sort of thing, and I'm like, oh, but I want to go in all different areas, so you know, it's working out, not listening to everyone else is such a key of, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, just going your own way, going with your flow, working out what book you want to write. Like, you know, I've got a heap of different book ideas, and it's just which one comes to me right now, and which one am I gonna sort of go with. So this year I've really focused on the self-help, mental health side of things, and like my next book, I've just finished the first round of edits, and now it's in the process of going through second round, and then I'll get into marketing and all of that to release. It's releasing in November, which is it's another Daring Journey book, but this one's for adults, so a self-help for adults, and it really goes through the struggles that we go through as adults, and then it goes into practical worksheets and practical advice that you can really take on, like actionable steps, which I'm really passionate about in self-help, because you got to not only, you know, hear, like I write a short story based around the issue so they can really get in the character's head and really feel what they're going through, but then after it, really putting these action steps and how you can get out of these situations, and really focusing on self-discovery and all of that. So I'm definitely, and then like my next book is, I'm going to work on fantasy again, so it's it's a complete different, I'm just feeling I need to sort of get out of that side of things for a little bit and just jump into a fantasy world and create that. So it's literally, go with what you want to write. Don't worry about what other people say, and just go for it.
I love that so much. And that seems to be a recurring theme in these conversations that I have with women. So many of these women are just like, go for it. Like, all you have to do is decide to do it, and the rest is it's just gonna happen. Like, things are just gonna happen after you decide to do it. But that brings me to my next thing, and I'm glad that you said that you know, you're kind of jumping around from thing to thing. You're gonna take a little break from the self-help and go back into fantasy. Now, do you think that helps you with your writing? Like, do you get writer's block? I think that's a normal question for writers. I get it. So I was just curious if that helps you kind of navigate that.
Yeah, definitely having the different stories and that. Like, I've got, you know, I've probably got like 5 books that are sort of, you know, the blurb's written, I know what it's talking about, but I'm sort of like, okay, which characters are talking to me, what's happening. But I think I have had a bit of a block with like fantasy writing. That's why I've sort of worked out, okay, I'm in the zone of self-help. I'm in, you know, that's what I'm writing about. That's what's coming to me. So really just listening and going with it. Don't force yourself to write something that you don't want to, because it's, you know, it's you're not putting your whole self into it. So just really working with what you're sort of telling yourself. And I think having them for me as a creative, like working out, having the different genres really helps, because I can be like, okay, this is talking to me, let's go down this path. Yeah.
And I think that's I think it's really it's such a cool thing that you're able to listen to yourself and say, this isn't really what I want to do today. I think I'm going to do this. And not even so much like decision based, but just about your books. Like, this is something that's speaking to me. These characters are speaking to me right now, so this is what I'm going to write about. And I think that people can learn a lesson from that even in life, you don't have to do the things that other people tell you to do. Like, listen to the characters of your own life. Listen to your intuition. Listen to the things that speak to you, and go do those things. Even if it's not necessarily writing a book or writing blogs, but I think there's such a broader lesson here for people. And I just, bravo for listening to your intuition and just going with what makes you you. Because not enough people do that.
Yeah, it's so important. And I never did it, like for years, I never did it. I just did what other people told me to do and really listened to them. And, if I had to make a decision, I'd call them, okay, what should I do? Not listening to myself. And that took a lot of time. But now I'm so connected. I know what I want. I know what I'm going for. And it's such a game changer. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I do want to touch on that too, because you did mention in your story that you spent a lot of time, kind of following the status quo and doing things that other people wanted you to do to fit in. But what was the turning point for you where you realized, okay, this isn't working? Like, I'm literally losing my sense of self.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get out of this. What did that moment look like for you?
Yeah, so it was about like 5 years ago. So I'm 27, so it was like my early 20s, and I'm glad I sort of picked up on it. I would have gone my whole life just doing the same thing, and I hit a point where I was, I just stopped and I was like, what am I doing? Who am I? I literally went back and was like, okay, I don't know who I am personally, and I wanted to reconnect with myself and find out, okay, who am I? Like, what makes me me? What am I passionate about? Really going back to basics, because I think, as we grow up, we're really conditioned and, of who we're meant to be, but sometimes we don't really find ourselves till a bit later on, or maybe even never. Like, it's such a hard thing. But yeah, really, I just went back to basics and I was like, okay, let's recreate myself. Let's, reconnect, find out who I am. And I really used journaling to discover that and really recreate myself. And yeah, from there, it's then I started loving myself for the first time in my life. Like, and that was such a, wow experience to, tell yourself that you love yourself for the first time. Like, it sounds simple, but sometimes we don't tell ourselves. And really going through that, doing, meditations really helped me, journaling, just learning new things, finding out, okay, what do I like? Let's go do a class. Let's go do this. And really just finding out who I am. And from there, just, even now, every day I'm journaling and finding out new things. And
I love that so much. And I got goosebumps when you said that you were finally able to tell yourself that you loved you. Like, that is so powerful. I'm also 27. And I feel like, COVID kind of hit me kind of hard. I kind of lost my job, like a side job. So it wasn't super important, but I'd been putting all of my eggs into that basket for so long. And when I lost it, I'm like, oh, okay. All of a sudden it's like, I don't know who I am anymore. But come to find out, it wasn't just the job. It was the people that were around me. It was the things that I was doing. It was the things that you said, like, I'd gotten conditioned to doing without thought. And I had to take a step back, and I'm like, okay, like, what am I really? Like, what is it that makes me me? And who are the people that I need to be surrounding myself with that can help me be the best version of myself that I can? And I think, I don't know if it's like a thing for women in their 20s or maybe it's just like women entrepreneurs. I don't know what it is, but we're so lucky that we were able to find that now, like you said, and not later. Now, is this something, and for anybody out there listening, this is one of the reasons why I started the podcast was, if there's anybody out there listening that is struggling with that and you want to be able to tell yourself that you love you because you're awesome, besides making a decision, what can you say to them to get started on the path of loving themselves?
Yeah, as you said, just taking a step back and okay, evaluating, okay, what am I doing? Am I happy? Am I going to my job? You know, is it making me happy, or do I need to literally flip my life on its back and, you know, work out what I'm doing, but really taking a step back and really looking at everything as a whole, what you're doing with your life, you know, what you want to do, because life's too short to be in a job you hate. Like, I know it's so, like, I literally before COVID, I was working and doing my business on the side, and then I didn't lose my job with COVID, but I quit, and it was like the worst possible time, like
Yeah.
the worst possible time. But I just had this thing. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm unhappy. You know, my job with like the most lovely people who I worked with, but I just hated getting up and going to something else when all I wanted to do was be here and do my thing. But
Yeah.
and it was the worst possible time, like worst time, but I just listened to myself and I said, I can't keep doing this. I need to get out, and I need to, you know, life's too short. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? Am I spending my days doing what I love? You know, just really, just listening to what you want and going with that.
I love that. Okay, now as we kind of wrap up the episode, I do want you to kind of go a little more in depth on any programs you have going on, or tell us a little bit about kind of where your business is going, where you want it to go. It sounds like this is kind of new, doing it full time, but what are your plans?
Yeah, so keep writing, like writing books and
Yeah.
empowering people, creating strong characters, female lead characters is so important to me. And I've got some courses on expressive writing, so that really go through, you know, how do I journal write? How do I get these thoughts out of my mind, and how do I release them? So I've got that. I'm creating this year I've been in such creation mode of courses, programs, that sort of thing. So I've got a story writing course that I'm working on at the moment, creating the content. So that's definitely going to be something that's coming up next. And really, putting it all sort of together. So having the books, having the courses, doing one-on-one coaching with people to really help them find their authentic voice,
Yeah.
and really change and go on the path with their business, or create something that they want to do and that they're passionate about. So really, courses, books, and one-on-one is really where it all sort of comes together. And I love education and, you know, helping people, and it's such an empowering thing of, you know, being on a call or a course and it helps change someone's life and they feel better, and that's just like, oh yes, I'm done. You know.
No, that's awesome. And I've spoken with, I think earlier this week I talked to a gal that's like an intuitive healer, but she also publishes books, and like she actually told me a story that like writing helped save a woman's life. Like she was suicidal, and like writing gave her an outlet to get her feelings out, and it was a way for her to be able to see rather than just react. So I think what you're doing is really important.
Yeah, it's such writing, definitely can help save a life, and really just getting your thoughts out. And it's so powerful. Even journaling every day, just to, you know, write to someone, whoever, piece of paper, you know, whoever it is, but just getting them out and feeling heard on the page, and feeling that you've listened to yourself in a way.
That's amazing. Okay. So as we wrap us up, I want people to connect with you. If you have any interest in writing a book, if you want to see the books that she's written, where can they find you?
Yeah, so website is jennalee.biz, B-I-Z. I'm on Instagram at jennalee.biz and Facebook as well, which is Jennalee Author. So yeah, that's basically Instagram's the go right now, and yeah, where I hang out most.
Okay, perfect. And just so everybody listening, all of those links that she just mentioned are going to be in the description for this podcast. So you guys can just click those links below to connect with her. And Jenna, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I think what you're doing is super powerful.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been great talking to you.
Absolutely. Okay, you guys. So if you want to catch this episode, it is on the Anchor dashboard. You can also find this episode and all of our other episodes on the Women Going Big website at womengoingbig.com. I'm also on Instagram, so if you guys want to go give me a follow, it's Women Going Big. And until I see you again, wherever you may be, I hope that you go big in some way today. And I absolutely cannot wait to come on the show next time. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This is Krista, your host, and I'm signing this off. Bye, guys.